We're sitting here at Quitman, and we're with the Quitman 10, their case.
Yeah.
Give me a little background on Mr. King, Attorney King, and his father. How is that in the realm of the civil rights?
Well, Attorney C.B. King is the son of the great legendary Attorney C.B. King Sr. from Albany, Georgia. The family has been very involved in the civil rights movement, political movement, going back to the 60s. There was Slater King, who was very, very active as a lawyer in the Albany area. He died in an accident. He was killed in a car wreck. And Clinton King was the one who got the most publicity when Jimmy Carter was in the White House. You remember Clinton would go over the plains, and he would say he's going to join President Carter's church, and he would get all the national media there, and he just went to the White House to create controversy around the fact that he and the Carter family out of Plains, but they were from Albany, they never got along. His brother ran for governor when Jimmy Carter ran for governor, C.B. But that's Clinton's daddy, C.B.'s daddy. Now, C.B. had an office on Auburn Avenue in Atlanta at the Oddfellows building in 1970 when he ran for governor. And Jose Williams had all of his staff involved in that campaign. And so we were running all over the state trying to help C.B. King become the first black governor of Georgia. I remember C.B. King representing SCLC in a lot of cases. Dr. King, Dr. Abernathy, Jose Williams. And I remember cases in Macon, Georgia, focusing on school desegregation in social circle. C.B. King and Attorney Howard Moore were representing us in the district court in Macon. I'm not sure if C.B. King ever represented Reverend Primus King out of Columbus in the challenge to the all-white Democratic primary. I'm not sure about that, but you might want to ask C.B. if that's a fact. He represented Primus King. But the King family, they produce a lot of lawyers and political activists, civil rights activists. They were very, very, very active in the 60s and 70s. And there's another, his C.B.'s son worked for Shirley Franklin. I believe she worked for Bill Campbell when they were mayors of Atlanta. I don't know where he is now, but he has a son in Atlanta. And I think the young lady who was working with C.B. on this case was at one point either dating him or married him. She's not in the courtroom today. She was here last week, the young female from Atlanta. But the King family is noted for producing a lot of lawyers and very good ones. And when you watch him in the courtroom, if you just research his father, I mean, you can see he's a chip off the old block. There's no question about it. His daddy was just an awesome attorney, and I remember one case in Macon. We were sitting in the courtroom watching his father, and the judge presiding jokingly said, "Attorney King, can you just break it down a little bit so we can understand you?" Because he would use, big words, and he was up here on cloud nine, and we were down here on ground earth, and a lot of people couldn't understand him because he would use those big words. He's very articulate. He was very articulate. He had a beard. He was taller, kind of like Kevin, and slimmer than his son. But he was an awesome presence in the courtroom. I remember him and Attorney Howard Moore, who was one of those lawyers with Donald Hollowell, who worked on school desegregation cases and civil rights cases. Horace Ward, who became a federal judge after integrating University of Georgia. Howard Moore represented Angela Davis in the University of California case at Berkeley. And Howard is still practicing in California today. Horace Ward has retired. Hollowell has died. C.B. Sr. has died. But these are great lawyers. I mean, you should study them. You should Google them, because they really were pioneers in helping to break down Jim Crow legal segregation and making this a better place for all of us today. And when you see C.B. King Jr. in the courtroom, I mean, he's really carrying on that legacy that he and his father and other lawyers across this state for many years were out here fighting the battles. And it was very dangerous. It was dangerous. I mean, it was serious for them to come down into deep South Georgia and work in counties like this one, Brooks, Decatur County, and Lowndes County, and Sumter County, Dougherty County, Lee County, Terrell County, where Gabby will be in October. So, you know, that's all I would say about Attorney King right now.
On this one, take me back 50 years. Selma to Montgomery, the march.
Yeah, Selma to
How is
Montgomery.
all that's related today? And
Because
for those who don't know a little history.
The struggle for voting rights 50 years ago, and when you look at what's happening right now today, it is as relevant today to fight to maintain the Voting Rights Act and to preserve all that the Voting Rights Act represents today. I mean, it is like night and day compared to what it was 50 years ago in terms of our climate. But here we have an attack on the Voting Rights Act. The Supreme Court outlawing Section 4, which impacts Section 5. And you say, well, my God, how far have we come in 50 years? We've come a long way. We've come a great distance. But as Dr. Lowry says all the time, everything has changed, but nothing has changed. And that's real. So 50 years ago, we were marching behind Jose Williams and Dr. King and John Lewis and Ralph Abernathy and Fred Shuttleworth from Selma to Montgomery. And on March 25th, 1965, Dr. King stood on the steps of the state capitol of Montgomery. And that was a great victory for us to get there. And of course, having President Lyndon B. Johnson sign the act, sign the Voting Rights Act, after Father James Reed had been beaten to death on the streets of Selma, and everybody in the world saw it on national TV, and President Johnson said, well, it's time now to provide Negroes with legal protection so they can vote in the South. And he urged Congress to send him a voting rights bill. So what we have today in Quitman is really a continuation of preserving our voting rights. The attack on voting rights today in Quitman is the worst form of voter intimidation, voter suppression that I've seen anywhere in America since 1982. That's why this case in Quitman deserves national coverage. It deserves to be on the 60 Minutes, and it deserves to be on the front page of the New York Times, and it deserves to have talk show hosts anchored down here to do live broadcasts out of Quitman, just like you saw in Ferguson just a few weeks ago, Ferguson, Missouri. This is serious, because if they can, you know, arrest, indict, and prosecute African Americans for simply exercising their God-given right to vote and the whole public office, if they can do that in Quitman and get away with it, it can spread like a plague. It could be the Ebola of the body politic all across America, just infecting other communities all across America. So that's why it's so important for us to be here to resist this and to stand up against it. I'm just so happy that we've been here for 3 years. We came in May of 2011. Representative David Lucas and Senator Robert Brown and Helen Butler and Emily Davis and I came here on May 7th of 2011, and we walked the streets of Quitman. They had lunch at Rosie's. Went all over this community, and black folks were saying to us how awful they had been treated by their federal, by their state, and their local government simply because they exercised their right to vote using absentee ballots. And the fact that African Americans won seats on the school board and the county commission, and they knew that the tide was changing. They knew that African Americans were going to continue to win. We could have a black sheriff. We got a black mayor. We could have a black sheriff, a black district attorney, judges in this circuit. And so I think the power structure said, we got to stop this, because if they can do this in Quitman, it can spread all across South Georgia. This whole corridor, this whole region could awaken this sleeping giant, as has been awakened here in Brooks County. So that's why it's important for us to be here. I'm just so happy that our allies and friends in the movement are here. We'll be here until it's over. And we'll be going into another phase of voter registration and voter education leading into the November election, because Diane Thomas is on the ballot for re-election in November. And we got to turn the vote out for her, as we did for Dr. Dinner in 2012. And where does Linda Troutman up? Where does Linda seat up? I don't know about Linda Troutman. Linda, who would she be on the ballot? This year or 2016? This year Linda's on too?
I think so.
I think so.
And
I think Linda's on.
Her district is now predominantly white, because I don't know what do they do to same.
They redo the districts. They redo the districts.
Redo it in multiple constituents.
So they redo the districts. But that's all I want to say. Kevin is standing here. Kevin Moran, one of our brothers in the struggle, Peace and Justice Coalition. We need to give him some time. And then Dr. Lee, our leader from the AKA.
Kevin, what are your thoughts on today? Or what you see going on?
It's a privilege being down here with these people. Being witness to what these 12 upstanding citizens have faced in intimidation for 4 years now. These are the heroes of the United States of America. These are the people willing to stand up for what's right, for honest elections, for capable, competent people to hold office. These aren't politicians running for office. These are educators that care about our kids. And we need people in office that care about people. Not how much they're going to make under the table, around the table, what position they're going to take after they're out of office. We need people dedicated to this country. We've been fortunate over the generations in the United States since our founding to have dedicated people step up to the plate and take responsibility and take leadership for what's just and right and in the best interest of all the American people. We need that leadership. These men and 11 women here in Quitman are having the courage for 4 years to stand up against a system that has tried in every way to assassinate their characters, to wear them down. This is a very simple case. And so far, every GBI agent has said there is nothing that these women have done that is illegal. Period. And the audacity of the prosecutor, the governor, to keep haranguing these women and going after them for 4 years. We have a wonderful attorney here, C.B. King, Tiffany Simons. These people are donating their lives and their time to this trial. It's only through their steadfast support that we're able to carry this on. And we need a victory here. We don't need a mistrial. We need it to be attested that these women that are charged have done nothing illegal. And it is critical we get that. That's why I'm here to witness. I need to be here to witness to the truth and to the opportunity to change this country around. I love Georgia. I love the United States of America. But something's wrong. We've got to get back to our founding principles of justice, fairness, of opportunity for all. And I mean all. We're a big enough, strong enough country that there is enough for everybody. Everyone should have an opportunity. And these women are standing in the forefront of education, and education is the way a democracy is successful. We need informed voters, and these women care about children. And I think this is a great turning point in Georgia and in the United States. This is a time of hope where we can show that you can stand up to the powers, you can prevail, and justice does rule at the end of the day. And I am here until this justice comes down like water. And it will. I pray it will. I know it will. God's on our side. And we're blessed to be here with you and the people of Quitman. I look forward to coming back as often as I can.
And on that note, thank you, Kevin.
Get ready, get ready, get ready.